What's up, people of this weird planet called Earth? Welcome to episode 54 of Reality Monday with yours truly, Damilare Mapa. On this episode of Reality Monday, we are going to be talking about a very controversial topic, and the title is named Marriage, a Question Thread Part 1. So I am here with two amazing guests. Apparently, we're supposed to have an anonymous guest, but it's really good. I know we might get surprised before the episode ends. So I'm here with two amazing guests, two people that apparently they are the first that I have not added their their pictures on my design, but then they are going to be introducing themselves. So I think I'll start with Miss Tomi. Please tell us about you, just like we discussed before.
Oh, hi. So I'm Tomi, and I run a podcast, Tomi and Friends. It's a new podcast, and it cites that I'm a student, but then I'm rounding up with my education, and I was born and raised in Lagos. I'm based in Lagos, yes, and I'm a foodie. Thank you. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you very much. So please listen to Tomi's podcast. Apparently, I hope one day I also become a guest on a podcast. I got this. So moving on to okay, hopefully one day. Moving on to Miss Azeezat, please tell us about yourself.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I am by name Azeezat Abdulaziz. I finished from Kwara State Polytechnic, served in Calabar. At the moment, I'm running my top-up program in Kwasu. I own a brand. A2O Errand Express is a personal shopper brand. And born and raised in Lagos, but moved to Ilorin. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll go straight into it because, yes, we don't spend more than 30 minutes on this episode. Okay. So I'll be starting with the first question under this question thread, which is, in your own opinion, first of all, we have about 8 very, very controversial questions, things that actually break the internet. So we'll be hoping that this episode is not going to scatter because of this question. So number one, we have, in your own opinion, when is the ideal age for marriage? So I think I'll push this question to Ms. Azeezat, please. Tell us, this is a very controversial thing. There was a time I posted it on Twitter, and then like so many answers. Some were like, oh, your 20s. Some were like, you don't have a perfect age until you're ready, blah, blah, blah. So please tell us, give us your own opinion, Ms. Azeezat. When is the perfect?
Yeah, in my own opinion, the ideal age to marry, it's actually based on personal decision. And the personal decision should be based on an individual emotional readiness, personal goals, and the readiness of probably the two parties that want to get involved in this marriage thing. Because marriage is not as easy as we just call it. But to me, once I start having kids, I actually wish my kids to start getting married at least at the age of 25. At least with that, they might have finished their education and also finished their master's program, and with that, they've seen that they'll be a bit exposed to the world and a bit, I don't know. So to me, it's actually depend on individual readiness. So
yeah. So apparently, you said two things that they are like things that in this age and time that we are, they kind of contradict themselves. So there's this thing where you are like, oh, readiness and all that sort. There's like this two mentality. Some people would say, oh, you don't have to wait for what's called everything to be set, as we would all call it, to actually get married. And then some people will be like, guy, the kind of Nigeria that we are now, when they start reminding you of how much pampers it costs, you think twice before you say, oh, let me make that decision of getting married when I am not fully or like set yet. You understand? So let me ask Tomi, in your own opinion, which one weighs more? Should you like focus on being set and like, okay, you have arrived, now you can get married, or you should be like, oh, you don't know what God can do or something like that, and then you probably have like an agreement with someone that you want to get married with, like, let's just get married because time is going.
Okay, so if you ask this question, you'd only get subjective responses based on how people understand things. Now, readiness isn't just like the financial aspect alone. It's way more than that. But then we know that money is really important when you're thinking about settling down, because you're bringing another person into your life. And especially as a man, men are said to be the head of the family. So men have it in their head that they have to provide and protect their family.
Not just now, not nowadays, child. Nowadays, it's almost like opinions that are just flying everywhere. But please continue with what you're saying. Don't mind me.
Yeah, we know. Everyone is saying, oh yeah, we have to go equal, we have to be equals, and it doesn't work for everybody. There's some men, they will tell you, it is my responsibility to provide for you, to protect you. Some men will tell their wives or their women, I don't want you to work. You just stay at home while I go work. So that kind of person with that kind of mindset would want to be financially buoyant before settling down. While for some people, they'll be like, yeah, I don't really have to have much before I settle down. So with the little I have, yeah, maybe when we work together, combine efforts and all of that, we're going to be fine. So it depends on the person or the people in question.
Okay. So in short, it still, in your own opinion, it still depends on like two parties. So I think we should just move on. We should move on from that. We should move on to number 2, which is name 3 most important factors that makes marriage work. I know that when I sent this outline to Tomi, she was like, oh, it's only married people that can answer this question. And it's actually true. It's only when you're married. But then, like, this is just us giving our own personal opinion. So, Tomi, I'm still going to ask you first. Please, what are your own opinion on 3 main factors that makes marriage work?
Okay, so I'm going to be answering those questions based on what I've heard from married people, because I've never been married. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
but you're going to be married one day now.
Yeah, of course. So based on my personal relationships, past relationships, and my parents, and married people. Well, for me, I think the 3 key things are I think number 1 should be proper communication.
Okay.
Proper communication is really important.
Without you are the first woman that will not mention money first, but no problem. Please continue.
Money is important. We all
money
know
is important. Me as a man, I know that money is important.
Yes, but then you guys might have money, and then you still have problems.
Yeah, that's
you're not communicating properly. So proper communication without insults or any form of verbal abuse or physical abuse. You need to be able to talk to your partner and be able to pass your message across to them properly without demeaning them or making them feel less of who they are. That's very important. I feel like that's like the number 1 thing. And
it also has to do with like children. Like when you give birth to children, being able to communicate well. That's like something that most of our parents.
I feel like it's for everybody. Between parents and children, between friends, family, even
we are talking about the context of marriage now.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, for instance, I don't know about your own home. When I was like younger, I don't think my parents knew how to communicate very well. The only way they knew how to communicate was like through violence. But that's not the conversation. So please move on. Aside from communication, what are the other 2 things?
Okay. I think the second one should be mutual respect. With mutual respect comes a whole lot of other goodies. If you respect me, I'll respect you as well. And when I respect you, I would learn to understand you, and I'll learn to listen to you and do whatever thing you want me to do. It's not you imposing. You're not going to impose it on me. But out of respect, I'll be like, okay, he wants me to do this. Yeah, so let me just do it because I respect him. I respect his opinion. I respect his personality. I respect everything he stands for. So mutual respect is very, very important. And I think the third thing should be forgiveness, because we would always wrong one another. So we should learn to forgive and move on. Yeah, so I think for me, those are like the 3 major things.
The 3 most important factors. Thank you. That's nice. You said number 1 was communication, number 2 respect, number 3 forgiveness. I got it.
Yes.
So I think I'll move on to Ms. Azeezat. I'll ask the same question because this one is like very important in my own opinion. So please, and please feel free to like come into the conversation. So Ms. Azeezat, please tell us.
Yeah, the first thing to me too is effective communication. I agree with Tomi, because even in our day-to-day life and activities, effective communication is so important. In a situation where the both partners don't communicate, you want something, I don't want something, then I think trouble starts to come in the relationship, and from there they start to see different flaws they feel they can deal with. So with effective communication, it's the very, very first one. And the second one to me is trust. Trust, yes, because trust, I feel, should be the foundation of every relationship that leads to marriage. In a marriage where you don't trust each other, believe me, then it's just like you building a house and the foundation, the materials you use for the foundation are just not so original. Then you know the erecting a building on that foundation, it's not going to last. So with trust, it is also a vital thing in every marriage. Like every marriage should have that too, and honesty. Like, and the last one you said 3 to me is understanding. In a situation, okay, I'll just put it like this: shared values and understanding. In a situation where you don't understand yourself, it's a different thing where you guys communicate, and it's another different thing when you understand yourself. Like, okay, yeah, I agree with you. Oh yeah, okay, this is it, and this is what you want, and this is what I want. Like even without your partner saying some words, you already read the signs, the body language, and everything about your partner. Exactly, like. So to me, those 3 things I feel,
they top your list.
Yeah.
So let me recall that again. Number 1 is effective communication. Number 2 is trust. Number 3 is understanding. Okay, that's really nice. For me, I would okay. There's no need for me to say my own factors, but then I think I agree with like everything you guys say, and yeah, I hope people that listen to this actually learn a lot from it. So number 3 on our outline is name 3 general concepts of marriage that you do not agree with. So this should be interesting. Please, Azeezat, I will go with you first. Tell us 3 concepts that you feel like you don't agree with.
The 3 things. The first one I'll be going with is societal expectations. That actually needs to be worked on. Like to me, in every marriage, we tend to live our lives based on what the society wants, what the society is actually expecting from the couple. Let me give you an instance. Okay, you guys get married. It's not even up to 6 months, and the world, people around you, the environment, already expecting you to be like, oh, she's pregnant, oh, she has a baby. Like if it is possible for
as if I knew that's what you wanted to say.
For it, like at times I get mad with these things. Like
the pressure is on a lot of women. It's true.
And one thing is, with this kind of societal expectation, like with that instance I've just what's it called list I've just said, they tend to focus more on the women, thinking if okay, you guys just got married and there's no baby, there's no pregnancy. The focus is always on the woman, like, oh, she has problem, probably she has done something bad and all.
No, that thing is bad.
Like the guys also might be the problem. Most times
it
actually end up to be the guys. Now, if couples are actually living their life based on societal expectations, okay, you guys really the 2 parties want to party and they are always like, oh, what would the world say? Is like, what would the society say? Oh, they party too much and all of that. Couples need to learn to live their life off societal expectations. Another thing, not to waste our time, another thing I'm going to point is gender roles. Damn, it's always annoying. Gender roles in the sense that we all believe, like, okay, the way our forefathers and fathers lived their life, like, the man is supposed to go out there to source for money, just come back and take care of the family. And believe me, back then, our fathers don't really support our mothers when it comes to the house responsibilities and all of sort, like taking care of the children. They believe it is solely the mothers that have to do those kind of responsibilities. No, that also I want you to be ruled out. Like
that's a problem. Okay.
Last one. Gender roles, and the last one is arranged marriage. Man, we just believe we believe it does not really exist, but we still have some norms, we still have some environment that still believe solely in this kind of thing, like arranged marriage. To me, that kind of marriage, I don't really find it interesting. Like, I believe the 2 parties might just be living their life in that marriage based on what their parent, their family actually want, not based on what they want. It is only few of those kind of couples they end up building feelings, emotions for each other, and the marriage will be like, oh yeah, they're actually married because they really want to. So that kind of thing too. It's part of what I don't like in marriage concepts.
That's another concept. Okay, interesting. Thank you very much. That was quite insightful. Tomi, I still want you to talk about this concept. Please just tell us like briefly 3 general concepts. I want to maybe have like other things that we don't or you don't agree with.
Okay, so for me, I think the first one should be the whole understanding or talk about men being polygamous in nature and seeing it as a normal thing for men to cheat and end up, having more than one wife. And I don't want this to be a religious thing, but I know there's a particular religion that supports men having multiple wives. As long as they can take care of their wives. Now, I have seen men who have 2-3 wives, and those women are suffering. Like, they are not taking care of them at all. They're not taking care of the wives, they're not taking care of the kids, and they will tell you, oh yeah, I can get married to more than a wife, blah blah blah, and you're not taking care of them. It doesn't make sense. So for me, I feel like if you're not financially buoyant, please stick to one wife. It's as simple as that.
Okay, that's like the first concept.
I'm not a fan of that concept at all.
Okay.
And I think another one should be how the society looks down on women that walk out of their marriage. They see them as irresponsible. They talk down on them, they look down on them, they say all sorts. And you don't know what that woman went through in that marriage. Maybe the man was beating her up, you don't know. Maybe she was abused, or she was maltreated, or she was very unhappy. No one knows. But the moment a woman leaves her husband and gets an apartment and starts staying alone, they call them all sorts of names. They make them look like they're failures or they're irresponsible.
Like it's a taboo, like a very, very bad taboo. Especially Yoruba, I think it's very common.
They call them all sorts of names. Like if you go back to your father's house, they will tag a name on you. It's better to walk out of an abusive marriage than to die there. Yearly, we know the amount of women that end up dying in the hands of an abusive partner, which is another topic entirely. So I'm not in support of that. It doesn't make sense. And I think I'm going to support Azeezat in when she talked about couples getting married and people expecting them to magically produce babies, children, get pregnant and have children immediately. Some people decide to chew for a year or 2 years before getting pregnant. So that doesn't mean something is wrong with them. The woman could be fine and the man could be fine, and then they just told themselves, let's just chew for 2 years, and after 2 years, we start having kids. No one knows, so it's not your business.
Apparently, in
Nigeria, 3 concepts that I'm not a fan of at all.
Okay. I was about saying apparently in Nigeria we don't like minding our business.
Exactly.
But anyway, we don't like minding our business. So let's just move to the next one. I think this is going really, really fast, and we are on number 4 question, which is tell us 2 controversial opinions about marriage that will make you trend. I wanted to there's this thing on Twitter where they will be like, talk about controversial opinions about something that will make someone, like, people want to kill you. There's this particular, what's it called, meme that they always use, but apparently we cannot use a meme. Yeah, so I think number 3 is kind of a little bit related to number 4. So what I'll just do is, if anybody has like any controversial opinion about marriage, that you want to tell us about, people will be like, or something like that. Aziza, do you have any, or we should just pick number 3 as all your opinions?
I do.
Okay.
That will make me trend. The first thing to me is, I don't know, I've always had this thinking, okay, let me put it this way. I'm a divorcee and a single mother. I always feel like I have this feeling marriage should have an expiration date, like it should have expiring dates.
And
where you can decide to either renew your marriage,
renew your contract,
your partner, or you just want to dissolve the marriage.
This is interesting.
Yeah, I think with that, I think that is going to lead me to that societal expectations. Something like that. So, when you get divorced, when you get separated from your partner, it is here in Nigeria we see it as a taboo, as a bad thing. I remember when I left my baby father, my father said to me, I should not mind whatever people will say. I was the one there. I know what I faced. I know what I came out with. So whatever anybody is saying is none of my business. The only thing you need to do now is focus on your future, and what you were not able to achieve while you went into the marriage, you should achieve it now that you're out. See, I think with that, when marriage have expiration date, like expiring dates, we'll have little or no divorce issue. Marriage is a life contract, and believe me, even
that's what you're about to say.
That celebrates 50 years anniversary, 70 years anniversary, there are times at which I get tired.
I swear, that's a very big,
our whole generation now. Hardly do we have couples celebrating 20 years in marriage, 25 years in married. But if you look at our forefathers, our mothers are so, and one of the things that we should have, factors that make marriage work, is patience. And I think that's what that word patient is missing in our own generation. I think God, we this generation, we didn't wait enough to get that part, patience, while we're coming to the world, which
I
our
think,
mothers had then. Because that patience actually made most of our mothers stay longer in marriage.
but that you now know that patience to some people is called like suffering. She gets suffering
Yes,
and
it is
smiling.
called suffering, which myself, there's little to the patience I can have in a marriage. Let me put it that way. So with that expiring dates, if it can be inculcated in
Mm.
marriage life, I would
Okay.
appreciate it. Mm-hmm.
That's one opinion. That's one one interesting opinion. So we'll not take too much of our time. Is there a second one, or we should just move
Yeah,
on?
I think marriage is just an outdated institution. Like, I think marriage should be scrapped.
Okay, that's
We
the
can just
second one.
have
That's nice.
baby fathers and baby mamas, and we'll all be fine.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you very much for those two controversial opinions and good. Tommy, you have any one of them for us before we move on, or maybe two of them?
Well, for me, marriage shouldn't be scrapped. I mean, I love the idea of companionship and everything marriage has, comes with. But I think talking about scrapping something, I think marital vows should be scrapped. I think they can't be a complete waste of time, because if one party was still go ahead to do the opposite of what they said, and everybody was doing and I'm crying like so romantic, and one
It's
party
for
ends up
the
doing,
moment now. It's for the moment.
or maybe when people want to start doing their marital vows, it's just old Shango and Ogun and all of those ones. To be sure that what
Okay,
you're
that's
saying, you're
another.
meaning what you're saying, and you're not
Okay,
just saying it
yeah,
for saying
meaning.
sakes. That's I
Okay.
think that's like my first thing. And I think the second thing should be I feel the society expects too much from women, and it's not fair. A woman is expected to birth a child, clean the house, perform her wifely duties, and still stay in shape. You see men, they say, oh, my wife, she's lost, a nice shape, now she's got stretch marks, she's got this. It's just ridiculous. And even you're not looking the same way you looked 10 years ago.
I mean, you're not
Now
looking
you
as
have a
sexy as you look
protruding
10
big
years
belly,
ago.
you're looking all out of shape. And women hardly complain. Women hardly tell their husbands, you're having a big belly, because they don't want to bruise your ego.
Okay.
You're looking funny, and your wife is not saying anything because she doesn't want you to like feel bad. And then you start complaining about a stretch mark, she's looking this, she's added weight, whatever. It's not nice.
It's not
So
nice.
those are
I
my
agree
opinions.
with you. I agree with you. So, okay, those are the two opinions. Thank you very much. That both of them were quite funny, but then you've spoken the truth, honestly. Like the way most men treated, even in my own opinion, like most men that their marriages, like our forefathers, that their marriages lasted, the way some of them treated their wives, and then the fact that they took cheating outside as very very normal was also like a very terrible thing. But a lot of women, like back then, were very very patient human beings, but nowadays, nah, you cannot find that, and it should not be like that, obviously. So I think that's also an opinion I wanted to drop. So let's just move on to number five. We are gradually coming to the end of this episode. Number five is, what's your take? Okay, this is very very big, but I would like for us to like summarize it. What's your take on sexual compatibility in marriage? There was a question after this one, but I decided that number five will just encompass it. So I'll start with Tommy also. Briefly, what's your take on sexual compatibility? And yes, okay, I think I should state this. There's this very common notion which it to me it's subjective, that you have to like what's it called, confirm your sexual compatibility with a partner before you get married to them. But then it's like there's also the opinion of like sex before marriage and all that sort. So yes, I think that's like the basis or the foundation of this question. So Tommy, please let me hear your own opinion on this.
Okay. So in my own opinion, I feel like sexual compatibility is very important, because I think the only thing that differentiates roommates and couples is the fact that roommates do not have sex with each other, and couples have sex with each other. So that's what differentiates roommates and couples. So it's really important, because I've heard couples complain about this. I think it has ruined some marriages, for different reasons. And biblically, sex before marriage is not allowed. So I'm not here to talk against it or support
Yes.
it.
But what, like, this is supposed to be like just a realistic opinion. Okay, I think I should. This came to my mind, which was the fact that, oh, imagine everybody was testing their sexual compatibility before marriage. Then once you have like tried to test it by having sex with a particular person you want to get married to, and the person is not compatible with you, would you now say, oh, or in your own opinion? I think that's like it's a very weird thing. Also, how are you supposed to know? Is it like there's supposed to be a test? But just to go straight to the point, what do you think is like the best way to find out your sexual compatibility with someone before you get married? Should it be in a conversation? Should it be
Yeah, you could
probably
know.
like a
You could know
doctor's report?
via having a conversation with the person. Although that doesn't do all of the job, but just in case you guys end up fornicating and you
Yeah,
end up having sex with one another before marriage, and you find out that okay, you guys are not compatible. It depends on the problem. Now, sometimes we make this thing feel like it's a once in a lifetime thing. This is something that eventually, if we get married, we could learn. We could, with time, understand
okay.
each other's body and understand our, wants and desires, and with time it gets better. But then we always make it feel like, oh, we have to get it right just that one time.
Especially to people that have not actually had sex before. I think it should not be
Yeah, it
a
could suck at the first time, and then eventually it could be the best
step
sex you've
better.
ever had in your entire life. So people have to take it easy and be patient. You're not going to die tomorrow or anything. So you could try over and over again, till it gets better. But it depends on the problem more.
Okay.
It depends on the problem.
The problem can be in different stages. What
Exactly.
about
It could be the genital size. It could be anything, but it depends on the problem.
it could also be lack of knowledge. Also, that could be a problem.
Yes.
So,
some people don't even know. They have no idea what they're supposed to do. They just do whatever.
Yeah.
So
that's why I stopped. So, like in your own opinion, do you think seeing a therapist is also like a what's it called, like a way out? Should I say way out, or like a solution to trying to figure something like this out, especially for couples that are like, oh, they want to have issues with their marriage because of sexual compatibility, or like any other solution, especially for couples that are already like couples.
Yeah, I cannot answer that question.
Okay, that's a very deep
experience.
Apparently, I think that's a very deep question. But the reason why I ask that is that I think some people are too quick to say, especially people that are married, are too quick to say, oh, this is not going to work, this can never work, blah blah blah, and then just end it like that. And this is one thing that has to do with communication before getting married. So that was the reason why I asked that question. But in my own opinion, I think some people feel like therapy also works very well for them. So if they want to try it. So yes, I would push this to Azeezat. I think I don't know why, like you guys are waiting for me to bring you into the conversation, which obviously can also like try to enter into the conversation yourself. But Azeezat, please, with all what we've said, I don't know, what do you have any contradictory opinions, anything that you want to also agree with?
Yeah, on a quick one, I feel what's it called, sexual compatibility starts from physical attraction. To me, Tomi is right. You can't test every just like you want to have a meal and you start testing this, from that. You get tired of, even your taste bud won't work anymore. So I feel, to me, physical attraction. Then there's this communication, like an emotional connection. I don't know if it works for people too. Me seeing someone, I feel if I want to get married now, communication about, like, it's not, it's fine if you guys are being dirty. At least it's to some extent, you know the capability of the other partner. Like, okay, can you do this? Can you do that? How well can you do this? How well can you do this? And in a situation where the both parties get married and they start having issues, probably the genital not as you want it, there are remedies at which you can help your partners. Probably take some traditional or local natural remedies to help. If it is about the ways at which your partner performs those stuffs, we have things you can do. You can train your partner to what you want. It's just, see, about this too, it depends on communication, like how well you guys can communicate, and I think that might be sorted. I don't want to really go far into that, so I think physical attraction, emotional connection, and communication will actually
those things are, I feel those things are like very surface things that you can also use to judge too. Thank you very much. I think we have just 3 questions more briefly. That we've passed our 30 minutes. I said it, we've passed our 30 minutes. What's it called? baseline. So let's just quickly rush through this. Number 6 is, who do you think should earn more, and is it normal if one person earns more than the other in both cases? So briefly, Azeezat, please talk to us about this.
See, on this aspect, let's not really go deep into it. It depends in a marriage. It depends on a personal decision. It depends on the kind of circumstances that both partners find each other. Now, in a marriage, to me, I don't have problem. But the kind of century we have now, if we ladies actually earn more, we have most of us who actually have this pride and ego when we earn more than our partner. That is number one reason why our men do not really like us earning more than they do. So why do you think we have these what's it called, well-to-do women that they are not really settled? Because our men feel this ego and pride in us won't allow us be submissive. But to me, it's all depend on communication, also on the partner. The circumstances that could actually warrant each of the partner getting more ends is the educational background, the personal goals, the individual. Like, a lot can actually warrant it. So to me, anyone can earn more. It all depends on the kind of communication you have and how well you are able to manage your earnings.
Your earnings. Okay, that's very good. So I would ask the next outline because it relates with it quickly. So, do you think if a woman rejects a man that earns lesser than her, do you think it's like it exudes or like it shows pride, or it's just like trying to be realistic? What's your opinion on that?
In my own opinion, rejecting a man is actually solely on individual values and priorities. In choosing a partner, we all have our top list, like A list priorities. We have our preferences in what we actually want in a man. But me, I do tell a lady, you rejecting a man based on his income does not really matter. The first thing you need to know is, even from your discussion, you would know a man who is futurely oriented, like the future is bright. You have to look, the first thing you need to look for in your partner is the future. If the future is actually bright, is as goals, then I think you both partner. To me, I feel I love to be with a partner where we can actually work together to better each other's life. Because one, I'll be in a success story. Then two, I can actually brag about whatever he earns. Like he earns like later, like no, I was there with you. Why most of we don't always want to do these parts is because our men tend to misbehave where they actually start having money. So that's why we feel okay. Well, when he has money, I am good to go. But I think considering other aspects in finding a partner is really, really important. Yeah, your compatibility, your character really, really matters when you want to choose a partner. So rejecting a man solely because of his income is not a good thing. Like, you shouldn't be based on materialistic items. So to me, I wouldn't say it is rude. I'll just say, it depends on individual preferences on what they want in a partner. But to me, it's a no. I wouldn't advise any lady to go with that.
Very, very valid point. Very valid point. So, Tomi, quickly, the two questions concurrently before we take our last question. I think the first one was based on who should earn more and should it be a problem, and then the second one, rejecting a man for like earning lesser than a lady. So, briefly.
Okay. So first things first, I feel like both parties should be open to the possibility of the other person anymore. Anything could happen, opportunities could come, show up for either of them. So and we women, we don't have an issue with our man earning more. I feel like every woman wants someone who's financially buoyant, someone who exudes confidence, physical strength, who is assertive, that's the kind of man we want. So, but then, and if it doesn't bruise the man's ego, or it doesn't hurts the man's ego that I earn more than he does, then I have a problem. As long as he's got prospects, he's got plans, he's hardworking, is goal driven, I don't have an issue with me earning more than a man. It just depends on the person in question.
Okay, it depends on the person in question. So yes, I think the second question, if a woman rejects a man because of his earning lesser than her, what's your own opinion on it?
Hello.
Yeah, I don't know if Tomi is there. Tomi,
Oh,
can you hear us?
I think
Apparently, it looks like our network. Yeah, I think
yeah.
our network went off. So let me just quickly go through the last outline. Last outline is what's your ideal definition of a realistic marriage? And I probably use the word realistic because some people they they live a fairy tale. Yeah, the Cinderella kind of what's it called, fairy tale where there's always a happily ever after. But realistically, I don't know if there can be like a brief way to just expect that, oh, this is what you should expect in marriage. But before we go to that, Tomi, please, can you hear us? I don't know if you're back. Apparently, it looks like she's still cannot hear. So yes, Miss Azeezat, please could you go through
Yeah, to
realistic?
actually talk, I think this actually still boils back to individual perspective and values. Realistic here, and I want you to know, like, there's no marriage without its flaws, up and downs. There's no perfect marriage. Things we just see on social media, oh, they are so perfect. Deep inside, they have issues. They're actually nothing. And I would like to list some elements to actually to link up with this realistic. I am realistic marriage of a thing, which are some of the things which actually buttressed, which is communication and understanding. It's really, really, really important to have a realistic marriage. Then we have mutual respect and equality. Like, all of these things we've actually spoke about them earlier. Emotional support and connection, it is really, really important. You guys have to be connected. Then flexibility and adaptability. There's no one that is not born to changes. Even this life, it keeps changing. So we have to be flexible and adaptable. Like, anything can stop at any time. The love you think you've shared, it will get to a point in marriage, love cannot sustain the marriage. The word love cannot actually sustain the marriage. And
Other factors,
other factors like all of these: mutual respect, equality, emotional support and connection. That emotional support can actually work well when love ceases not to work again. Then intimacy and sexual compatibility, that one safe, it is actually important. It is actually important. In a marriage, I think some people, when they have issues, one of the things to settle the grudges is when they have a good love making. With that, after the love making, you see them that they are fine. Most times, not all times. And when the sexual compatibility is not there, tell me, how will it work for them? It can't. Then having realistic expectations and goals for each other, like, okay, yeah, we can achieve this, we can do this, we can do that, we can do that. I think with that, we can have a realistic marriage. Then when we talk of realistic marriage, we should also understand, like I've said earlier, there's challenges, there's up and downs. It is part of it, because marriage is not just a 1-year contract. It is a life contract. And when we say realistic has to be a very, like, the marriage you've been into for a very lengthy time. Not this marriage of 2 years, 3 years, and it has crashed. It is not realistic. Do you understand? Now, you need to know that flaws will actually come up anytime and almost every time. Disagreement. When you maintain, like, effort, understanding, and commitment, will actually make the two partners grow well in the marriage. So we deal with those elements. I think we can have a realistic marriage. And let's add to their opinion, happily married ever married after, or whatever. So to me, that is it. Like, that is it.
Those are very, 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 very heartwarming and very educative points. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Hopefully, I'll be able to listen to this episode again, especially when I want to get married, or even after I've got married. Thank you. So I think we are rounding up. I don't think Tomi is with us. Tomi, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome back. So apparently, Azeezat, like, she killed the what's it called? The last part. It's like a concert where you just kill it and drop the mic and you're like, boom.
Oh yeah, she did. She did.
Yes, she did. So please, could you just round this up for us before we say goodbye? I think you wanted to say some things in relation to a man, like
okay. Yeah, as you said, it depends on the individual wants. It depends on the person, basically. Yeah. And as I said, like, all of it. But to add to what she said, I think marriage where both parties are willing to unlearn and relearn is a realistic marriage, because we've been told and we've heard that marriage requires constant effort, and we've been told marriage is hard work. It's not easy, but I feel it helps when you're doing life with someone who's on the same page with you and who's your friend. So friendship is very important, and yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Okay, that's pretty much it. Friendship is important. I agree totally and absolutely with that. May we all find our friends in marriage. Thank you very, very much, Tomi. Thank you very, very much, Azeezat, for being on this episode of Reality Monday. I really appreciate you guys. And to anybody that listened this far, I hope you listened well and gained a lot of things, learned a lot of things from it. Apparently, we wanted to do 30 minutes. Oh, God. I would look for that day that I will actually do 30 minutes on
Yeah,
Reality
that is
Monday.
if it is not a very interesting and
Yeah,
engaging topic.
engaging topic, yes. The engaging part, most likely. So thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. And any last words before we say goodbye? Any last words, Tomi? Any last words?
All I'm going to say to our listeners is that we are not married. We're just, telling you all of this in our own little, like our opinion and, with the little knowledge we've got. So feel free to talk to married people.
Yeah, talk to married people.
Yes, your parents. If you've got parents, you could talk to your parents. They will not mislead you ever.
That's true. So me too, I was even saying it. I was telling her that I most likely need to listen to this because I loved a lot of our, like the finishing points that she gave. I'll listen to this again when I want to get married. and when I'm also married, too. Most likely me and my wife will even listen to this episode again. So thank you very much. Azizat, any last word?
Let's just be ourselves and actually list out what we want in partners. And I think to all of us out there, let's stop looking at the happily married people. Let's walk up to them, know their flaws, how the marriage is being managed, and with that we can have less expectation. And I just pray and hope we all find our friends in our partner.
Find our friends, our partner. So thank you very, very much to our listeners. Please follow my guests on their social media handles, which most likely will be dropped on the comment section or the caption. Please also like, subscribe if you are listening to this on YouTube. Thank you very much for being part of this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.